Tonight on News 3 at 6, we've already seen record-breaking cold, and it's only going to get colder. We have the latest forecast.
This was weather-driven equipment failure.
And the cold is causing issues for utilities. We've seen a few power outages and water main breaks. We'll share how crews are preparing for a fight against the polar vortex.
This is News 3 at 6.
Thanks for watching News 3 at 6. I'm Amanda Quintana. We're starting to sound like a broken record here once again. We are following dangerously cold temperatures in southern Wisconsin. Let's turn it over to Dave Caulfield for your first alert forecast. Dave?
Yeah, this morning, Amanda, temperatures in Madison got to minus 23 degrees below zero, breaking a daily record, not the all-time record. There was some confusion about that on social media and on channel3000.com, but still extremely cold temperatures this morning, and the bitterly cold air does not look to let up anytime soon. And now we turn our attention to a winter storm on the way. We've had some snow throughout the day. That is not part of the winter storm on the way. That is just a run-of-the-mill low pressure system passing mainly to our south. Our low pressure system not showing up yet on radar. On Doppler track, though, still a couple of snowflakes out there and about a half an inch to an inch of accumulation possible by the time we get to later this evening. Most of that has already fallen, though, but we're still seeing that snow coming down in Madison. The WISC-TV Skycam, low temperatures, as I mentioned this morning, very, very cold, brutally cold, in fact. Minus 23 in Madison, minus 29 is where we started off in Lone Rock. Temperatures right now just a little bit above zero in Lone Rock and in Madison, 5 above in Mineral Point, and we're at 7 in Janesville. Wind chills actually above zero in Madison. How about that? With not that much wind to talk about, it's pretty close to where the thermometer is suggesting, but still could have some more brutal cold overnight with temperatures falling to around minus 7 by the time we start off tomorrow morning, and with a little bit of a wind that can make it feel like minus 10 to minus 20. We'll talk more about the winter storm on the way for tomorrow, and also the brutal and dangerous cold on the way for the middle of next week in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Dave. When it's this cold out, heat and electricity become even more important. More than 1,300 homes in Verona now have their power restored after an Alliant Energy outage caused by the weather early this morning. It happened in the Nine Mound Road area and lasted a little over 2 hours for some of those households. Our Madeline O'Neill is here with more on this developing story. Maddie.
Amanda, Josh Rodriguez and his family lost water for a few hours yesterday after a water main broke in this cold weather. This morning, they lost electricity, and like many homes, that means they lost heat too. When it's this cold, Alliant Energy says restoring power as soon as possible is critical.
And it was like, what happened?
Inside what is usually a warm home,
We panicked a little bit. And
Josh Rodriguez realized he and his family were without power.
Careful, man.
Just after 1:15 a.m. Saturday morning.
So we had nothing.
No electricity, no heat. During sub-zero temperatures.
It dropped significantly.
The first thought on his mind, his 7-year-old son.
I was just worried that he would wake up and be shivering and be cold.
And then his neighbors.
Those streets are out of power.
Talking about the outage on the Nextdoor app.
Those streets are out of power. I was like, hey, we have a generator if you have space heaters. I was like, not everyone has a fireplace like we have.
These are extreme temperatures, so it's very important that we respond immediately.
Alliant Energy spokesperson Anne-Marie Newman says nothing is immune from the extreme weather, including equipment.
Equipment can become brittle, and that's what happened last night.
Along with the crew members working on a fix.
We do take additional precautions when we have extreme temperatures. So we make sure that crews are always working in pairs or small groups if need be, that the trucks are working and warm.
By just after 3:30 Saturday morning, Newman says all 1,340 houses had power restored.
It's not very common that something happens, but if it does, we're ready to respond immediately.
This neighborhood has power, this neighborhood has power.
Rodriguez is thankful for crews.
I mean, they responded ridiculously fast.
Making this home warm again.
As soon as the power came back on, I cranked up the heat.
Now, as temperatures drop, Alliant Energy says they're not expecting more equipment problems, but they're watching carefully and are ready to respond in case of an emergency. Amanda.
All right, thank you, Maddie. Here are some of the other places people can go to get out of the cold. The Beacon on East Washington opens at 7:30 a.m. during cold weather and closes at 5 p.m. Starting today, Porchlight will begin taking people in the men's shelter at 5 p.m. They will continue that tomorrow as well. The Salvation Army will begin intake for women and families starting at 4 o'clock. Madison Metro is also offering warming buses this weekend at their 4 transfer points, giving people the option to stay out of the cold. City officials say they are considering extending these services into next week. With the snow and the cold, we want to remind you our First Alert Weather and Traffic app is free on any and all of your mobile devices. Just search for Channel 3000 First Alert Weather and Traffic to download that app. Continuing coverage, the clock has started on the temporary reprieve that ended the longest partial government shutdown in history. Congress has until February 15th to come up with a deal on border security that President Trump will support. Nicole Killian has the latest from Washington, D.C.
President Trump urged Democrats to negotiate over the next 3 weeks to find a solution on border security that includes funding to build a border wall. In a series of tweets Saturday morning, Mr. Trump said, 21 days goes very quickly. Will not be easy to make a deal. Both parties very dug in. We will build the wall. The president signed a continuing resolution passed by the House and Senate Friday night, ending the longest partial government shutdown in history.
I want to thank all of the incredible federal workers and their amazing families who have shown such extraordinary devotion in the face of this recent hardship.
The temporary deal came on the same day many furloughed federal workers missed their second paycheck, but there is still plenty of uncertainty with the threat of another shutdown looming next month.
We don't know how we're going to pay our car payments, our house payments, our rent, our child care. We can't keep doing this.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she's willing to negotiate with Mr. Trump, but she's resisted the president's calls for a border wall.
Democrats are committed to border security, and we think we have some better ideas about how to do so that protect our border, honor our values, and are cost effective.
As federal workers head back to work, the Smithsonian Museums and National Zoo are also ramping to reopen by next Tuesday. Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.
Furloughed workers should start receiving missed paychecks by early next week. Coming up on News 3 at 6, millions of drivers use key fobs to start their cars, but Consumer Reports says with more technology in those fobs comes more maintenance. Their advice after the break. When's the last time you put a key into your car's ignition? If you're one of the millions of drivers using a key fob to start your car, you might have some trouble remembering that. But as Consumer Reports explains, with the convenience of keyless entry comes some basic maintenance of the fob itself to keep you coming and going seamlessly.
Sometimes in life, it's the little things that make you happy. Like locking and unlocking your car door with the click of your key fob.
I'm a first-time mom, and having a new infant, I want to get them in the car quickly as possible. So having the key fob really makes it easy for me.
Get into a habit of at least clicking it twice.
I don't think I'd ever want to go back to a regular key.
But what if your key fob stops working?
Sometimes they just need a little love, too.
When your key fob isn't working, don't be in such a rush to shell out hundreds of dollars to replace it. The auto team at Consumer Reports says the first thing you should look at is the battery.
A battery typically weakens after a year or two. Where you store your key fob also matters.
Leaving your key fob in the car overnight or even on a hook near the car is not a smart idea.
If the fob is too close to your car, it can continue to communicate with your car, which could drain the battery.
Your owner's manual should give you simple instructions to replace the battery for just a few bucks. I'm Chris Lewinberg, WISC News 3.
Consumer Reports says if all else fails, be aware that many fobs have a key blade tucked inside that can manually unlock the doors. Well, once the doors are unlocked, these cold temperatures might make your car hard to start. How to prepare for these record-breaking low temperatures coming up.
Hurry!
In Rock County tonight, the CEO of the YMCA of Northern Rock County is responding to claims that he says casts him in a, quote, negative light. Tom Denboer was placed on administrative leave on Tuesday night after ethical concerns and a perceived lack of transparency at the organization. Denboer says he has reflected the YMCA's values during his 13 years as CEO, and claims about him are unfounded. He's on leave pending the outcome of an internal investigation. Some farmers got to get off the farm this afternoon and avoid those cold temperatures. The UW-Madison Farm and Industry Short Course reunion was held at the Coliseum Bar and featured a meal, awards program, and guest speaker. UW is one of the only universities in the country to offer a short course program, which is a hybrid between attending a four-year university and a technical college. Most graduates go on to work in production agriculture.
I'm actually a third-generation WISC alumni, and hopefully someday down the road, my children will go through the program. That alone shows how well suited this program is for our industry and the well-being of its students.
Approximately 100 short course alumni attended this reunion. As we prepare for the even colder temperatures next week, local mechanics say our cars need to be prepared too. This includes making sure cars are up to date on their scheduled maintenance and have plenty of tire tread and battery life left. It doesn't hurt to have an emergency kit with tools along with other winter essentials just in case. For drivers that would rather leave an emergency situation to the pros, a charged cell phone and portable charger are also good ideas.
The best advice for any kind of severe weather is be prepared. To be prepared, to have your vehicle prepared. Hopefully you've already had scheduled maintenance done, have had a multi-point inspection, know the condition that your tires are in, the battery's been tested, you know that it's good, your lights and everything, you know that they work and you're going to be visible to other people.
Ward says if something does happen out on the road, to make sure to put personal safety first and stay in your car away from passing vehicles. These cold and icy temperatures are sure to continue as we enter the next week. Dave Caulfield is here with your forecast.
Yeah, so much to talk about in this forecast, Amanda. We had record-breaking cold this morning of minus 23 degrees in Madison. That broke the daily record set back about 50 years ago. But now we turn our attention to a major winter storm on the way. We did see a little bit of snow because of a weak low pressure system to our south today, and actually still a little bit of that snow falling across southern Wisconsin, but we are not seeing our next snow system yet on the map. It's deep into northwestern Canada, and that will continue. That system will continue to move closer to us and arrive by the time we get to Sunday evening, impact us pretty heavily with that snow into Monday evening. So alert days in the forecast basically for all of next week. Monday for 6 to 12 inches of snow and locally heavier amounts possible. Heavy snow, blowing and drifting snow also could be a concern on Monday. And then for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we could have lows as cold as 25 below zero and wind chills as low as 55 below zero. Not out of the question. So all that and more I'll talk about coming up in the next couple of minutes. So everyone, as expected, under a winter storm warning from tomorrow evening until Monday evening. Right now on Doppler tracks, still a couple of snow showers and flurries hanging on across portions of Dane County, but this is not going to produce much in the way of accumulation. Downtown Madison, we're seeing some of those flurries and snow showers right now in the Edgewater Skycam. Today's high 4 degrees, but the low of negative 23 or minus 23 breaks the record set back in 1963 of minus 21, and we could be looking at some more temperatures in that range as we head into the middle of next week. It's like, what do you focus on first when it comes to this forecast? There's just so much to worry about winter weather-wise over the next 5 days or so. We'll try and break it all down for you. So minus 29 is where we started off in Lone Rock, just unbelievably unbearable cold this morning, and luckily those temperatures did peak above zero across much of southern Wisconsin, but not by much. Still very cold outside right now. 3 in Madison, 7 in Janesville, 3 in Watertown, and 1 above in Lone Rock. Wind chills are pretty close to what the thermometer is suggesting. The good news is that wind not too bad right now, but it still could be a little bit brutal as we head into tonight and tomorrow morning, especially for spots like Jefferson and Dodge County under a wind chill advisory until tomorrow morning. Tonight, bitterly cold again. Temperatures falling to around minus 9. Wind chills of minus 10 to minus 20 are possible for tomorrow, becoming mostly cloudy. That snow arrives late, right around 6 or 7 at night for southern Wisconsin, specifically for Madison, I think, is when that snow comes in from the north and west. The heaviest snow, though, we're fairly confident that that will fall overnight Sunday into very early on Monday morning. So the Monday morning commute, folks, could be extremely hazardous to say the least. Then this system moves out of here pretty quickly as we get into the later portions of Monday. By about 6 or 7 p.m. I think that snow will wrap up across southern Wisconsin, but look at what happens in its wake. Basically, everyone in line for at least 6 inches of snow, and some of us could get a lot more than that. Madison and really a lot of southern Wisconsin, 8 to 12 inches of snow, and closer to Lake Michigan, spots like Manitowoc, Sheboygan, Fond du Lac, and Juneau, portions of Dodge County and a little bit of Jefferson County could pick up more than a foot. Then after that, the extreme cold settles in for Tuesday until Thursday. Remember, when we talk about wind chills of about minus 40 to minus 55, which are possible as we head into especially Wednesday and Thursday mornings, frostbite can set in about 5 to 10 minutes, and in some cases even sooner than that. So this cold is nothing to joke about, nothing to take lightly. Also, hypothermia could be a concern for some of us. Remember, uncontrollable shivering, disorientation, memory loss, feeling drowsy, or slurred speech are the signs of that. And if your body temperature, or if a person's body temperature falls below 95 degrees, get them some medical attention immediately. We're going to pay a lot of attention to this forecast over the next week or so. Alert days in the forecast from Monday through Thursday. Look at those lows. Wednesday morning and Thursday morning, minus 24. If we get a wind of about 15 miles per hour, which is definitely possible, those wind chills are falling into the 40s and 50s below zero.
right, it's cold outside. We heard Dave. It's not great to be out, so a plenty packed Kohl Center this afternoon as the Badgers host the Wildcats of Northwestern. Wisconsin in the top half of the pack in the Big Ten standings, trying to add to that today. Bit of a chilly start to this game, though. Dimitri Trice really feeling himself today. Big three at the top of the key. And then there was a turnover for the Wildcats at the hands of Khalil Iverson here. He steals the ball away all by himself, so hey, yeah, we want some style points. Let's fire things up for this Kohl Center crowd. A lot of double teams on Ethan Happ today, by the way, so a lot of opportunities for Brad Davison, and he takes advantage of those long balls. Three-pointers for him today. And in the second half, Happ getting his own rebound, earning himself a triple-double, his second of the season. Trice also adding a casual three-pointer there. As the Badgers win 62-46 the final, only 3 triple-doubles in Badger basketball history. One of them belongs to Josh Gosser. The other 2, this guy who didn't actually know about it at first.
The guys on the bench, Mike Ballard, said, "Give me one more rebound," and I was like, "What are you talking about? Why are you talking to me?" I mean, not like, but like, why are you, like, he doesn't talk to me during games really that much, so I was like, what are you talking about? And then I looked up and I saw, like, I needed one more rebound to get it, so I was aware once I got it, yeah.
Defensively, one of our better efforts. I think this group is starting to grow in that way, and I think the best thing about the best defensive teams we've had is that it starts to become instinctual, and when there are mistakes or breakdowns, they cover up for each other.
So 13 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists for the All-American. Davison and Trice each with a game-high 18 points. Wisconsin heads to Nebraska next for a game on Tuesday, weather permitting, of course. The Cornhuskers are on a 3-game losing streak. They are 3-6 in the Big Ten. Meanwhile, when you play at Madison Square Garden, New York City, you got to put on a show. Illinois, Maryland doing just that. They're Tavion Jones for the dunk. It's a 2-point game. Later, Darrell Morsel to Bruno Fernando. Inbound slam dunk. What a show there. Terps up by 3. But the Illini coming back and more. Trenton Frazier to Ayo Dosunmu. Illinois wins 78-67. 12th ranked Marquette on quite the hot streak. They're at Xavier trying to win their 7th game in a row. Fast forward to the second half. Matt Held to Sam Hauser. He drops 3. Golden Eagles up 71-69. Later, little brotherly love between the Hauser boys. Big bro Sam to little bro Joey for another 3. It's a 6-point game. And of course, Marcus Howard, 3 of his game-high 31 as Marquette beats Xavier 87-82. Lots of very pretty fun basketball today, guys.
Yeah, good to stay inside for that kind of
Indeed.
stuff. A lot of weather news.
Yeah, I mean, where do you even start? Well, let's start with the flurries. We'll be wrapping up across portions of Dane and Rock counties over the next hour or so. Some snow showers as well. The winter weather advisories, the winter storm warning goes from tomorrow night into Monday night for about 6 to 12 inches of snow. Even locally heavier amounts are possible. For tomorrow, we'll start off very chilly. The clouds will be on the increase. Highs will be near 6 degrees. As we take a look at this jam-packed 7-day forecast, alert days Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. For Monday, it's for the snow. Blowing and drifting snow may be possible. Hazardous travel for Monday morning at least. And then very, very cold temperatures and dangerous wind chills as we head into Wednesday and Thursday morning. Lows will be near 25 below. Wind chills anywhere from -40 to -55.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Dave. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you at 10.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.